Hey, what's up, lightboltjoe here. Today we are going to discuss the 2021 Amazon Prime original film Jolt. This stars Kate Beckinsale, Stanley Tucci, Jai Courtney, Bobby Cannavale, Laverne Cox. A slew of other people are in this. Having Bobby Cannavale and Laverne Cox play partner police detectives, hysterical. And the dynamic the two of them have is just so perfectly well balanced together. So, uh, Kate Kate Beckinsale. Is that who I said? I can't. I'm so blown away with this film. I'm literally forgetting the main actress's name, and I just said it. I just said it. So the main actress who does all the underworld films. This movie, it reminded me so much of Guns Akimbo with Daniel Radcliffe, and I love Guns Akimbo. It's hour and a half long, action, super quick. Samara Weaving, Daniel Radcliffe are in it, and this reminded me so much of that because this is again an hour and a half long, hour 31 minutes, including credits, and it's so quick. But the story is consistent and it doesn't feel rushed, and we just go from one thing to the next to the next. And the action sequences, the car chasing felt very fast and furious. Felt like John Wick at a bit of times. So main character's name is Lindy, and she is diagnosed with IAD, which is intermittent explosive disorder. Now, I've only seen this IAD represented in Teen Wolf. Liam Dunbar's character, played by Dylan Sprayberry, has IAD, and Scott inadvertently transforms him into a werewolf, bites him to save his life. So he gave werewolf powers to the new kid at school with IAD. And so what happens, right? How does Liam contain his anger without exploding and hurting people? That's why he got kicked out of the last school to go to this new school, Beacon Hills. So to have this character of Lindy show the origins of the IED as a kid, going through different programs and different treatments and joining the military and doing different fight clubs and all these different things. And now she's an adult who is going through an experimental medical practice from an unlicensed physician, Stanley Tucci's character. So she wears these different diodes across her entire body called the Life Vest, and she's got a little clicker, and she clicks it when she needs a jolt of electrical stimulant to suppress the anger to get her back on track. And so, of course, things happen when the Life Vest fails, or she's out of juice or something like that, right? But the purpose of this film, in the John Wick aspect of it, as I compared to it before, is she's forced to go on a blind date, try to expand within the social aspect because she doesn't like people. So it's immersive therapy, essentially, dealing with this IAD. And so what happens when the guy she goes on a date with has a second date ish, and then mysteriously is murdered and thrown in a dumpster, right? He's an accountant for this one guy named Bobby. What happens, right? Bobby? Barry? Barry. What happens, right? So the police get involved, but she realizes it's up to her because the police aren't going to do anything with this mobster kind of aspect. And she's just beating people left and right. And she's just self-defense, constantly finding her way up the food chain to then realize it was Justin behind it all the entire time. And I was like, whoa. Like, it took me off guard. It took me off guard. This is why we're talking about it, because I assumed it was just going to be her and the final boss battle, but the final boss battle was the twist, and I didn't expect it, and that's what's cool about it. I really liked how they used an actual thing, an actual medical diagnosis, IAD, as the parameters of this character's do's and do nots, right? What she can do, what she can't do. She has a conversation with Bobby's character in the car with his son, and he's like, well, what does it feel like? So she puts his hand on her chest, jolts it, and he freaks out, obviously, because it's a jolt of electricity, and he felt it skin to skin. And so he says, well, this tells me a lot that you would rather hurt yourself than hurt others. So it's a really interesting conversation piece in regards to Stanley Tucci's character of this psychiatrist, quote unquote, being funded by Justin's head mafioso, money, to create this thing. And we get the whole reason why she was, quote unquote, chosen to take out this lead boss Faisal character, who she was under the impression is the one who actually had killed Justin the accountant, but he didn't. So they go through different experiment explanations, going through different, how she's used to it, and then she winds up blowing up the building anyway. But it was very well. It was so smart. It was sleek. That's the best two words I can give. Two S words: smart and sleek. Absolutely loved it. Reminded me so much of Guns Akimbo, and I love Guns Akimbo. This was right up my alley. This was very quick. For a 90-minute movie, that's it. That's all you need. This is a perfect example. Guns Akimbo and Jolt, both on Amazon Prime, are two perfect examples of 90-minute films, especially in action films. You introduce the characters, you introduce the plot, and you keep the story going. Even if there's downtime, it's not 12 hours of why the sky is blue and the grass is green. You don't need that to tell a story. Just go from point A to point B to point C, and you're good. 90-minute film. Perfect, 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 perfect. On to the next review. Mahalo.